Do that every single solitary day. Well, guess what? You have to get attention. Okay. Without attention, by which I mean eyeballs on your art, on your photography, you are never going to sell any of it. You can't even have any of the other problems, a website problem, a niche selection problem, a best selling size problem, um, until you solve the attention problem. And, again, no different than Maslow's. Eating and sleeping is a daily activity. Getting attention is a daily activity. And attention comes in a couple of different forms: rented and owned. Owned attention is attention that can't be taken away from you. It's, you could say, physical email or physical mailing addresses, it's phone numbers, but most importantly in digital context, it's email addresses, right? A way that you can contact these people in the future. It can't be taken away from you. If you had 10,000 emails on your list and the pandemic hit, you still have 10,000 emails on your list. You can still email those folks. You can still sell your art or photography. Attention. It's quite literally the currency of the land today. With it, you can do anything. Without it, you're going to struggle. You're just going to struggle. You have no way of getting your art or photography in front of eyeballs. And it's really, really important to understand this concept. It is the currency of the land. Who are some of the most powerful women, not just in the United States, but in the entire world? I'm always embarrassed to say this. I got to stop being embarrassed to say it. It's the Kardashians. Okay? It's the Kardashians. Those women have amassed such social followings that any of one of them, if they decided they wanted to become an artist tomorrow and started painting stick figures, they could probably sell $10 million worth of art in the first Instagram post. Okay? They have the attention. You can argue morally or any other which way how they went about obtaining that attention, if that was necessarily a right, wrong, or better moral way to do it. But you can't argue with the level of success those women have achieved. And the takeaway is just, they've got the attention. Now they can do anything. With the attention, you can do absolutely anything. So it's a daily need, okay? You have to focus on it every single solitary day. How am I going to get more eyeballs, more email addresses, more social followers? Oh, yeah, I kind of skipped around. So owned attention, email addresses, phone numbers, things that can't be taken away. Rented attention, Instagram followers, Facebook fans, TikTok followers, YouTube subscribers, wherever you're marketing in a digital capacity. That's called rented attention because they can change the rules on you at any point in time. They can ban your account. They can take it away from you. You don't own it. You rent it. We still have to go and get it. So that's attention. The next rung up, the way I like to explain it is it has an outer shell and an inner shell. And the outer shell is, you have to have the correct business model. Okay. And let me talk about the business model briefly. It is you selling directly to your customers. Okay. There can be no one in between you and the end art buyer. And the primary reason for this is, without that, then you are not building a list. Okay. You are not building a list of folks that you can market to in the future. So when you're selling in an art gallery, or when you're selling in an online art gallery and someone buys your art and you do not retain the contact information, then you have no one that you can market to in the future. And I originally stole this concept. Sometimes you got to look, the camera goes a little weird. From this guy's book, Don't Be a Starving Artist, by Weiland, the whale guy, who most would say is the #1 selling artist in the entire United States. A big deal. I'll send you a link to this. I really think you should buy this book. It's a fantastic book, super short read. The chapters are just on point and awesome. It's a little annoying that it's not on Amazon. He's like, I think he gives all the proceeds to charity, so you have to buy it from his website. So there's no digital copy. You have to read it old school paper style, but it's a great book. Anyway, he talks about how important this concept of a collector list is, okay? And a collector is someone that buys in upwards, according to him, of 7+ pieces over the course of their lifetime, okay? And so, if you are not cultivating a list, okay, that you can market to, and you are not romancing and taking care of these folks that end up becoming collectors, year after year, they stay with you and they just buy more and more and more and more of your art. It is an absolutely tremendous thing. And I should actually, this is a total audible. We use this thing called Slack, okay, for our internal communication. And today we are running a live art show with the customer, and the show hasn't even started yet. But this particular customer has started showing some of the pieces to his art fair. And so I'm gonna. This might be a little bit hard to see, but I'm just gonna ad lib here because I like doing this on a Friday. All right, hold on. I got to get a new window open. Just bear with me. We'll see if we can see this or not. It's gonna let me do this or no? Oh shoot, it's not gonna let me do it. It's too complicated to do, so I don't want to pull it in. But essentially, what he said is that his best collector just bought 3 of the biggest pieces from the show, and the show hasn't even started yet. The point is, your collector list, okay, is essentially your pension. It's your 401k. It's something that's going to pay for the business for years to come. If you're not building it, you're in a significant amount of trouble. So that's the outer shell of the second block. Inside the second block is the 3 ways to sell art. There are 3 ways to sell art, okay? I believe every single solitary artist and photographer that is attempting to build their business needs to A, recognize that there's 3 ways to sell art, and B, start deploying these 3 different ways in their business, okay? Way number 1, what is the best way to sell art and or photography and or whatever you are creating? It is a trick question. It is in person, face to face. This is always how the world has worked. If you have the ability to sell your art, your photography, your whatever creation that you have, face to face, in person, that is by far the best way. It's not hard to believe. Everyone understands that. Everyone knows that. Everyone gets that, right? But if you have the ability to do that, great. Problem is, we are all of us geographically fixed on this earth, and we all have to sleep, okay? In addition to that, we're incapable of having 15 conversations at once. So we need a website, okay? The website solves for these things. Your art is up, people can view it, they can purchase it. That can happen at any point in time. You can have 50 people on at once. The shocker in all of this, though, is selling on the website is actually the worst way. It's the worst way of the 3. It's not to say you don't need it. You absolutely need to have it because sleeping and geographical limitations and everything else. But the newest way, the second way, it's the third one I'm mentioning, but the second way is what the whole world is trying to figure out and get good at right now. And it is exactly what we're doing right now. Selling your art, your photography via video, whether it's a Zoom call, FaceTime, any of the video chatting applications. And it can be one-to-one. You know, I come to Zuzi and I say, Zuzi, I want to see your work. And Zuzi goes, fantastic, Patrick. I'll tell you what, let's schedule a Zoom call and I'll show you all of my work one by one. We can talk about it. I can give you some of my inspiration if we can sell, or one-to-many. Okay, the one-to-many instances are, you know, what we like to call a live art show, right? And there's a couple of different iterations of it. And these are sort of the ones I've been showing recently. Here's a guy. It's in his garage studio. He lives in Laval, which is a suburb in Quebec. And he's talking about his art. He's showing his art off. He's streaming live to YouTube. He's streaming live to Facebook. He's also streaming live to Instagram. People are tuning in from all over the world, and they're buying his art. There are multiple different instances of this. Where's the other one I want to show? I want to show this one. Yep. Let me just press play. Might need to refresh. Here's another one. Another art storefront's customer. Again, she's in her basement area. I'm going to have to refresh it. Just bear with me. And don't worry, I'm going to send these to you after the fact so you can watch them and just kind of glossing over it. But in this instance, it's another live art show, right? Like, oh, come on, there we go.
And let me
go to somewhere in the middle of it. Yeah. Yep, she's having a good time, having a glass, showing off the work, saying what the price is. The first person that wants it gets it. Boom, done. It's absolutely the future. It is the thing that I'm more excited. It is the most interesting thing to transpire in the art selling world since forever. Okay, since forever. And one of the things that I'm going to send you. So, you know, this industry doesn't have a whole lot of reports. Okay, there's 2 big ones. One is by Art Basel and UBS. They call it the Art Market Report. They release it every single solitary year. The other one is by this insurer out of London called the Hiscox Report. And I'm going to send you this report. It's absolutely awesome, but it's called the Art Market 2021 report. And it's great. If you go on this page, like, you can actually download the report and see the whole report, or there's this key findings section where you can kind of go over the key findings that are in the thing. Where I thought I had one. Yeah, I'll just read you the table of contents really quickly on this because you can read it later. But it's the global art market in 2020, dealer sales, auction sales, art fairs, online sales, global wealth and collector perspectives, economic impact and conclusions. The takeaway from this report, and it's, you know, it's a little hoity-toity, these reports, because they sort of only survey the very biggest art sellers in the entire world, but a lot of the lessons and learnings like all filter down from this one. But my key read from this is everyone in the art selling world, from the very highest of the high end all the way down to the lowest and everyone in between, is trying to figure out online video selling. And it is one of the most fantastic ways to sell art ever. I think, you know, one of the things that I talk about all the time that is so key is that everything that we're trying to do to sell our art, sell our photography in a digital context is really just trying to take what works offline, in person, the best way of selling art, and move it online and make it as close as possible to offline and in person. And so, sort of the way that I look at it with the three ways of selling art is the best way to sell art is in person. So, what would that be? Let's just say that would be an art gallery that's all your art in Main Street of your town. Okay, fantastic. What do you do for all the people that don't live in your town? You turn on the video camera, you film inside the gallery, you show all of the pieces, and that is the next best way to do it. The worst way, the website, is sort of like, having the art gallery in town and just opening the doors and saying, come on in, I'm not going to help you, but you can look at whatever you want, right? That's what your website does, essentially. So this second way is, it is absolutely revolutionizing everything, the way that every single solitary person is trying to sell their products, and even so far bigger than art and photography. There's just like a whole range of products that are figuring this out. The pandemic has really pushed this upon us. Everyone knows how to Zoom now. Everyone understands the video chat. Everyone understands the future. So those are the three ways to sell art. You figure those out. You figure out that you need to get attention day in and day out, and you're on the path. Excuse me. The third block is everything else. Okay. And what do I mean by everything else? Perhaps you have a retail gallery and it's still going well for you. Fantastic. Keep it going. But in addition to the other two, in addition, like reversed, I got to get a laser pointer or something. In addition to the other two, okay, you have an online gallery that's working. Perhaps it's Etsy or Redbubble or Fine Art America or any of the other ones. If it's paying you and it's a valuable revenue resource, fantastic. But do it in addition to the other two. What about the show and thayer circuit? That thing somehow spins back up. People start attending again. Who knows how much longer it's going to take for that to become a reality? Guess what? In addition to attention, selling directly, the three ways, or anything else that you can put on that thing. That is the pyramid. That is the game changer. That is how you future-proof your business, right? And I have talked, like I said, to hundreds of artists and photographers all year long. And it is heartbreaking in many cases because there's a whole lot of them that are in their 30s, their 40s, their 50s, the 60s, the top of their art selling game, the top of their craft. They had a viable selling channel that was working pre-pandemic, and then boom, that thing hit. Those revenue sources dried up because they were not focusing on the pyramid. So weird, the reverse. Because they were not focusing on the pyramid, they didn't have contacts, they didn't have email addresses, they didn't have any way to sell direct, and all of a sudden their revenue source was just gone. And guess what? It's not coming back. It's not coming back anytime soon. Like the retail art galleries, over half are closed. The ones that are coming back are going to be able to pick and choose from the best artists of anyone. The show and thayer circuit, in order for a show or a fair to work, you need 100% attendance. It's hard enough to make it as is. If it's not at 100% attendance because people are gun shy about crowds, then that's not going to come back. So what is an artist or a photographer to do? They are to understand the pyramid and get working on it. Okay, get working on it. So when you ask what we do, everyone pigeonholes us into like, you guys are a website company, you just offer a website. Like, no one on this call has a website problem. Not a single solitary person in the Zoom session has a website problem. Not a one of you does. You all have an attention problem. You all have a marketing problem, right? Every one of you does, and that's what we do at the end of the day of Art Storefronts. Do we offer you a website? Yes, we do. Is it the best in class website? Yes, it is. But it's not braggadocio. We don't really have any competitors. There's not a whole lot of people that are servicing this particular niche, and the ones that are, they don't even have anywhere near the features. And it doesn't matter even if they did have the features, because it's not the problem. The problem is attention. The problem is marketing. So really, at the end of the day, what are we? We could be thought of as an art business university. We do graduate degrees, except the learning never stops. It might be a graduate degree that you get, but there's no graduates because the learning just never stops. We teach you to market all year long, year in, year out. It'll never stop because that's the problem. That's how you create successful customers. That's how you create successful artists and photographers. And it's literally the biggest problem in this industry. Has been for a long time. Doesn't look to let up anytime soon. So that's what we do. We teach people. We teach people how to have live art shows. We teach people how to sell direct. We teach people email marketing. We teach people how to market on the socials, how to have a sale, the mechanics of a sale, how to discount, how to price, how to have a proper store set up with the right price points from high to low, how to sell merchandise. So those are all the things that we do. I have, like I said, sort of a pretty decent in-depth demo that explains everything from soup to nuts that I normally play. It's like 20 minutes. We're just going to send it to you after the fact. You can watch it over the weekend or whatever, to sort of get some follow-up on that. But yeah, that's what we do. We're literally a marketing institution gallivanting around like a website company, but we're really just a marketing institution because that's the problem. That's the thing that we need to solve. So I think at that point, I will open it up to Q&A. I should say too, by the way, we're running. So we are, you know, we eat our own dog food. Okay. Since the pandemic hit, we've been going live ourselves 5 to 6 days a week. We've been running live video sessions 5 to 6 days a week on every topic imaginable and on everything imaginable. This thing right now is live on Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, in a private Facebook group, and then everyone that's involved in the Zoom session. We believe that selling art and photography via live video sessions is about the biggest thing. So we have one that we're running this afternoon. You guys are all welcome to come and check it out. It goes on. What time is it, Juan? What time is it?
It's 3 p.m. CST.
So 3 p.m. CST, 1 p.m. PST, 4 p.m. EST. We'll send you a link. You can watch one today. You can literally watch one today and see how it all goes down, if you like. Certainly throwing that out as an offer. No pressure on Juan because he has to run the thing. But that's the future. We believe it's absolutely the future. We believe it's the game changer of all game changers. And, you know, the roadmap for us for the next 6 months is to be essentially like the number one outfit, period. So at live art shows, at live video selling. Yes, we've got the website. You know, yes, we'll teach you to sell in person and how to best leverage that. But that's it. That's sort of my Friday rant. So at this point, I want to open it up to questions, to the Q&A. If you're one of the ones that's brave and has the camera on, thank you. Patrick, Diane, Anna, Zuzi. It's okay. I hate being on video. If you don't want to turn your camera on, I'm so cool with you not turning your camera on. If I could have the camera off, trust me, I have a face for radio. I would have the camera off. So don't feel like you need to turn your camera on. But for those that do have the camera on, if you guys have a question, you can raise the hand and we'll see it old school style. For the rest of you, there's like a participants button or bar or whatever at the bottom of Zoom. And if you click that, what it'll allow you to do is raise your hand digitally. It like does this like little hand raise thing. And that will let me know if you have a question. The chat is open and you can see I can pull the chat. What did I do here? Turn Zoom on, sorry. I can pull the chat in and see the questions like this and we can go over them together. So, you know, if you want to throw the chats in that way, fantastic. And we'll just go down the list and deal with the questions. And it looks like, Kurt, your question's up first. If you can go to audio and ask me, that'd probably be better than me reading it, but I can read it. Okay, good. Your mic's up. So tell me, Kurt, give me the details on this thing.
This was before you talked about I'm very curious about the online video.
Yes.
Art approach to art. I think that is definitely the way to go.
No question.
But I also had a question, kind of a technical question about the website and the configurator that you've got. I was struggling with going through the workflow to create a matted framed print. And I was able to get a matted print or I could get a framed print, but I couldn't get a matted and framed print. And I don't know if that's because of the way the configurator is set up with the NASF, or if it's the way the configurator was set up by the artists that created the website. So
yeah, I would have to look and see in the individual instance. I mean, the dirty little secret of selling art and photography online via the website is I cannot even begin to tell you the size of the graveyard littered with various different framing companies that have been trying to figure out the framing piece, right? Yeah. Like the minute that you go away from like, okay, Kurt's going to say, this is my photograph. I have a very distinct vision. It is a 4-inch white mat in a black frame. That's what I offer. No problem. You can do that. The minute that you open it up to dealer's choice with 15 different frame combinations and everything else, the dirty little secret is no one has ever cracked that code. No one. And by which I mean every company and their brother, especially the framing companies, have been trying to develop digital solutions to solve it. The secret is no one's ever solved it. No one is buying choose your own adventure frames in any art selling capacity at all for the most part, because it's just so complicated. The framing decision is so personal and ultimately it's really expensive, right? And so people want to see, they want to touch, they want to taste. And so we understand that. We've realized that. We believe that there is an importance in having it in the capacity that we do, such that it helps the customer visualize the way that they want to see it. But mostly what happens, aside from that earlier instance that I mentioned, is people just buy the thing and then they take it to their local frame shop. That's still how it works in today's day and age. So it's not it's not a hindrance the way that it works now. It does help with like the visualization aspects of it. Like, can I just visualize a little bit more what it's going to look like, the final product? But most people just, they don't buy it. I mean, we offer it, but it's just not happening on a regular basis.
So the best way to handle that, it sounds like, is to use my vision, put
Exactly.
that vision up and say, this is how I see
Exactly.
see it looking. Obviously, you can buy the print and frame it yourself if you'd like. This is the way I would do it.
Exactly right.
Go ahead and check out with this if you want to go ahead. Otherwise, buy the print.
Exactly right.
And I'll talk more about. I'm very curious about the video art show.
Yeah, we'll send you a link. I honestly, I strongly recommend you guys all check this one out today, because it'll be great.
I definitely want to check that out.
Cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, let me figure out. So I've got to mute. All right. Zuzi, you're up next. Yeah, please do. I got a lot of things going on here. And then Joanna, we'll get to you next. Is it Zuzi?
Zuzi.
Zuzi. All right, I got it.
Hi.
Where are you from originally, Zuzi?
Hungary.
Hungary. Awesome.
It's like Zsa Gabor, but it's Zuzi.
Yep, I got it.
So anyway, I have actually a couple of questions, but the one is I read, can you explain more in depth about the direct one-on-one marketing consulting coaching support? How does it work? If you can just explain that.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's like a number of layers to it. One, especially as it's directly to the consulting, we have essentially what we call office hours, and it's about 50 weeks a year. If you haven't sold $2,000 yet directly on your website, you're in one group. If you sold above $2,000 directly from your website, you're in the advanced group, or the next level up group, I should say. And we have Zoom sessions just like this on a weekly basis, every single solitary week. We will teach whatever we're asking you to do in a marketing capacity that week, and then we open it up to Q&A. So any questions that you have, you can get answered right there. In addition to that, we have the Zoom sessions 6 days a week, including Saturdays, where you can just come on. They're open sessions, and you're struggling, you're having an issue with something, you have a question. Is it pricing? Is it a Facebook question, an email marketing question, an Instagram question, a live art show question? And you can jump on, share your screen. They can take control of your computer, and that's available to you all year long, all the time. So that's the way we do it. In addition to that, we have like a highly curated Facebook group in which all of our customers are in there, and everyone really helps each other out at like a significant amount in there. So that's sort of the help that you get, and it's we're really proud of it. We believe it's really comprehensive. There's not really anything else like it out there.
And if I have, thanks for answering. That's very good that you guys offering that. The other thing is, if I have, like, let's say an emergency, like some payment didn't go through, or technical, like,
oh yeah,
how
the technical
fast do you
support.
guys respond if I send an email?
Oh yeah, all day, every day.
All day?
Yeah, email. You have email. You have phone call. You have chat. You have like chat inside your little website thing. Like, that's no problem. The help you need, just right, click away.
Can I ask more questions?
Yes, that's what it's for.
I send this in advance, but
yeah, it's okay. No, that's what it's for.
I want to respect other people's time.
No worries. They have the same questions you do. Trust me. Keep going.
So, so I saw this special offer that you guys announced, that this art business academy school.
University.
University, sorry. If you join now, then it's all included, or it's already included. I'm a little bit confused with that.
I'm confused too, because I don't know what the email said. But yeah, everyone gets access to it when they join. And so the Art Business University, we've been playing around with the concept for like a while. And hold on, I'm gonna just pull you out, and then I'll go. Is that it? Oh yeah, good. I've got a full screen. So the Art Business University, everything they didn't teach you in art school, which is absolutely true, because in art school, no one teaches you how to actually grow an art business. But we just have all of these various different courses on all the various different things. And it's sort of just one aspect of the service. And so in here is like your traditional, do it yourself, learn at your own pace courses on all sorts of things: how to go live on Facebook, how to leverage Facebook traffic for art sales, how to target high net worth buyers, strategies for art gallery marketing, on and on and on. So this is the DIY stuff, right? But it's only
Okay.
one part of the whole thing, because what you find is the DIY, the do it yourself, learn at your own pace education, it's not enough. It's not enough. You actually need to pair that education with the Zoom sessions. Otherwise, nobody ever takes action on it, right? So yeah, we
Okay.
have the best education that I believe for selling art, period, online, because we've been working at it for a long time. We're good at this stuff. But in addition to that, it's the Zoom sessions. And so it's like, we'll have a Zoom session. Well, we have a calendar too. The calendar tells you what to do 365 days a year, right? When to run a sale.
Mhm.
Here's what we're doing. And everyone loosely follows it. Okay, great. In the calendar, it'll say, Zuzi, this week you're going to be running a live art show. Here's the playbook. We call them playbooks on how to go learn how to do that. So ahead of the next Zoom session, you're going to go watch the playbook and you're going to be like, I have questions. And then you're going to get on the Zoom session and we're going to go over all of those questions. Here's how it goes. Let me show you. Okay, go. Then you go and do the marketing activity. And then in the next Zoom session, we'll hear stories of people that did really well. And that's how it goes on and on and on. So, yeah.
So this is addition to the one that you just mentioned earlier, that each members were rolled into different
Yes.
level.
Yes.
So addition to that, so if I'm in that level, then you're gonna assign something that helping me through the steps. Okay, this is for, let's just say, the first month.
Mhm.
This is your goal in your case,
Yes.
and then I can talk about that on Zoom as well. And then this,
Yes.
okay, that's good to know.
Yeah. It's
And
it's 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 an awesome way to learn. And you know, in addition to that, there's something about like, and we'll stay on the same example. So, you know, there's 200 people on a call, let's just say, because that's an average number sometimes, and everyone is doing the same thing at the same time, right? And so you're like, wait a minute, I feel scared. I don't want to get on camera. And then, there's some giant ugly person, no offense to whoever this person is, and comes on and was like, I did my live art show and it was absolutely awesome. Here's how I did it. And then everyone else is like, everyone gets all fired up and gets everyone like, there's like a camaraderie to it, is what I'm saying. It's a really, really effective way to learn, actually. Yeah.
the other thing is, I already have a website,
Hmm.
but I just created, a separate. I'm a commercial photographer,
Got
but
it.
I would like to now tap into the fine art photography.
Hmm.
So I do need to have a separation because the two things doesn't go.
For sure.
So I have a separate page that just says fine art photography.
Hmm.
Now, my understanding is with Art Storefront website, your own custom website, you can integrate the existing website.
Hmm.
I understand that you just put a link, but how about if I have individual artwork on my website, and under each photography, when they press okay, buy this, can I directly go with that artwork into my store? Or this is very technical,
No, it's
because
not.
to me it's
It's
important.
not technical at all. Like we have a ton of commercial photographers that do this. So here's a guy, he's a nature photographer, right? In his main website, you can see the URL here, and he's got information about what he does, and he's the nature guy, and how you book him and stocks and everything else. And then if you go to fine art, what this will pull up is his actual art storefronts install, right? And so instead of the actual website, most people do like, this guy's name is Tim Lehman. So normally people do, timlehman.com and then store.timlehman.com, which will end up being where the actual, prints and originals and commissions and everything else. And so that's a very simple way to manage it. And if you're a commercial photographer, that's what I would do. I would not do it the way that he did it, because I like to keep everything under one roof. And so I would probably just do, if your name was ZuziCommercialArt.com, I would do store.ZuziCommercialArt.com. And, it's a seamless pass through, right? Like if they want to leave this site and click Fine Art, then they can click Fine Art. Back on this site, if you want to go back to his site, then boom, you click that and you're right back to that site, right? So it's a seamless integration with the two. And it keeps things pretty straightforward. So that's sort of how we recommend you do that.
Mhm. And what is the side-by-side product feature?
It's a good question. What is the side-by-side product feature? I don't even know if I know what the side-by-side product feature is.
Because you have different price point to enter, I mean
Mm-hmm.
to be member,
Mm-hmm.
and it's only offering when the top tier, the gold. So I
The
would like to know that.
side-by-side product feature. I don't even know what it is. I'll ask a question. So, I'll find out. I honestly don't even.
Sorry.
No, it's all good. I don't.
And
I
then
actually don't even know
regarding
what it is.
the fees,
Mhm.
I don't know if you can help me with that, but it looks like if you pay full amount the annual, then let's say if I join the top tier,
Mhm.
the gold,
Mhm.
then the 6 months is free.
Yes. Yes.
So for 6 months, I don't have to pay that $55 per month. Is
Exactly.
that correct?
Exactly.
And that's because I need to make some sales and I'm learning your system and all that.
Yes. Yeah. And more than likely, you're marketing for the first time ever, right? Like,
Mm.
until you have an email list, until you have a good social following, until you've been, regularly posting and running some sales, most folks don't do a tremendous amount of business. But some come right in that already have all that, and then, right out of the gates, they're doing extremely well. But yeah,
I have to also build up an inventory. What is the smart way? When is the good time to join to be a member? If I have really right now just free artwork, is it make sense or wait? What is your suggestion?
I go back to my original presentation, right? Like the most
Yeah.
important thing early on is that you spin up the marketing machine and you start building up the marketing muscles. And what everyone does is they're in your shoes and they're like, okay, I only have 3 artworks right now, so when I get to 15, I'll start working on the marketing, right? Or
Mhm.
I'll sign up and I'll start working on the marketing. Okay,
Mhm.
great. So you take that path. We'll see how long it takes to get the 15 that are ready. On the other path is, okay, I only have 3 artworks right now, but that's enough. I'm going to start marketing. And bit by bit, you're building the followers. Bit by bit, you're learning how to do all these things, do email marketing, posting on the socials, running a sale, and you're getting better and better and better. And you don't worry about how many pieces you have. You add the pieces when you add the pieces. Guess what? Every time you add a new piece, fantastic marketing moment. Hey guys, check out my store. I just added my most recent piece, right? So, the attention and getting the attention and building the marketing muscles is the most important part. And what's the best time to do that? 30 years ago. What's the next best time?
Mhm.
Today, right?
And- Yeah. And
Yeah.
my last question, just quickly, how do you handle the communication channels between customers, artists, and then our storefront platform? For example, let's be specific. If the customer is receiving my artwork, right? And because I'm assuming you have a third party who's
Y-
printing it out
yes.
and framing it.
Yes.
If something goes wrong, let's say the quality is not right,
Hmm.
how that communication is happening, how would I do I
Oh, I love. Yeah,
communicate
no,
with
I
the
love. I
customer?
love this part. I mean, I would say a couple of things. One, generally speaking, yes, I want you to communicate with the customer. You want to know why? Because there's nothing more
Mhm,
important than taking care of your customer. And until you're getting hundreds of sales a day, you have the time. Trust me, it's the most important thing you can do.
mhm,
Here's the awesome thing. So depending on where if you're located in the United States, and we have a different situation for Canada, which is why I'm bringing it up because there's import export duties and such. We have 2 print partners. One is located on the West Coast. They're called Bay Photo. The other one is called Graphic Dimensions. They're located on the East Coast. These are both massive companies. Okay, they are huge companies. So what ends up
mhm.
happening, and one I should say, a damaged print or a print that didn't come out right or a print that the customer is not happy with happens so infrequently. I can't even begin to tell you. Almost never. And that's like actual tickets, right? But what's classic is because these companies are so big, okay, because art is such a pain in the butt to ship, what they do 9 times out of 10 is they don't even ask any questions. They just reprint and ship another one. Keep the damaged one. I don't care because it costs too much money to ship it back. I don't even want to deal with it. Here's your brand new one done. You'll have zero problems with it whatsoever. Zero.
Okay, so our storefront will letting me know in email something, or how does
Usually,
it work?
usually what happens is the customer will let you know, and then you just open up a
Okay,
customer service ticket, and then we take care of the rest.
then I will let you guys
Yep.
know, and then you
Yep.
taking care of
Hmm.
it. Averagely, what is the turnaround? Because still there's some restriction during COVID-19.
Yeah, they're
What is the
pretty
time
much
turnaround?
they're pretty
How
much
many?
up to full speed again. Like
Okay.
it was bad for sure. Like
What
every
is full speed for you? How many days?
from the time it orders until the time it ships, it sort of just depends on where they live geographically. I'm not exactly sure what the exact number of days is, but they're really
Is it
quick.
1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks?
Oh, I think until it ships, it's probably like 3 or 4 days, maybe a week. I mean,
Mhm.
I think peak COVID, sometimes it was like 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks, but now it's really quick.
The reason why I'm asking, because if I choose to have limited edition, or I want to do my signature
Hmm.
on, well, on that than shipping it to me and then
Yeah.
shipping it to the customer. So I just want to see.
So
is it
what we
gonna be
do, what we
for-
do in that instance, and I love that you're bringing that up because I think it's a fantastic way to do it. Usually, you should charge extra for the signature to sort of account
Mhm.
for things. But we have a ton of customers that will get the thing shipped to them, and these things are packaged up so wonderfully, it's unbelievable. Delicately
Mhm.
open it up, pull it out, sign it, seal it back up, put it right back in the box, off you ship it. Yeah,
Got it.
it's easy.
Okay, thank
Yeah.
you. I appreciate it. I'm sorry, I had so many questions.
No, that's what this is for. It's easy. And I do hope you sign up because I really like saying the first name so that I can just start saying it all
Okay.
the time.
Zuzivin.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thanks.
All right. Thanks, Susie.
Okay.
Okay. No, Kurt, it's a website. Trust me, it's a very advanced website too. I mean, I rant and rave about how the website's not important. It is important. It's just in order for the website to be important, you have to take care of the marketing. So, you go back to the pyramid analogy and like it's really, really critical. And I would say we have a whole range of features that like it's why we do the demo process because it is that we have like 110 different features. Like you can't even wrap your head around all of them. I'm going to unmute you, Kurt, and I'm going to show you one in the meantime. Like there's the framing, but before you can even get to the framing, like one of the most important ones to solve in my estimation is this one, and I'll just show you. So we have this feature called live preview with AR, right? And this is a killer one for consultative selling. So somebody can go to your website with their cell phone, okay? And this is happening in real time on the right-hand side. And they can grab the item in the store, and with their cell phone and augmented reality, the actual piece is on an actual wall in real time. They can size it up, size it down, see what it's going to look like with their furniture, see if it blends in with the wall colors, take screenshots, send it to their significant other, and you can do this anywhere with any item in your store. So we have, trust me, we have more bells and whistles and website features than you could possibly imagine, both behind the scenes and the forward-facing selling ones. So as much as I knock the website because again, I want you guys all in the right frame of mind that you don't have a website problem, you have an attention problem. Yeah, it's a very good one. Yeah, and London's sitting here in the chat. That's the best feature. It's absolutely not the best feature. And no, Heidi, it is not an iPhone app. It works without the iPhone app. You don't download any app at all. It just works with the web browser in the iPhone, or it works with the web browser in Android. So you don't even need to download an app, which is even better. And as sexy as it is, it's not even the best one. Like my favorite one, no joke, is I don't know if we have it on. Do we have it here? I don't know if I have like a section for it. We don't even talk about it because it's so confusing to even explain to somebody that doesn't get it. But we have a proprietary cookie. Okay, we call this thing Art Buyer AI, and it's a proprietary cookie that's running on your store. Okay, and so let's say it's Zuzi's store, but Zuzi's store, instead of it being her art store, it's actually the Apple store, okay? And just track with me on this for a second. So this thing, Art Buyer AI, it's basically a script that's running on your website. And so I walk into Zuzi's store, okay? And this little script is essentially like a video camera up in the corner, and it's watching everyone all the time. And so I walk into Zuzi's store, which is actually the Apple store, and I pick up an iPhone, and I look at the iPhone, and I put that down. And then I pick up an iPad and I look at the iPad and I set that down. And then I go and look at a MacBook Air and I type on the keyboard and I set that down. I buy the iPhone and I leave. Instantaneously, our system recognizes that behavior, okay? And it pops up a little red flag in your dashboard and it emails you and it says, "Hey Zuzi, I just want to let you know, Patrick just came into your store. He looked at the iPhone, the iPad, and the MacBook Pro or Mac Air, whatever I said, and he bought the iPhone and he left." And then a little box pops up and it's full of text, okay? And it says, "Do you want to send this email now or no?" And here's what the email says, and we've written them. "Hey, Patrick, it's Zuzi. I just want to thank you so much for purchasing the iPhone. I cannot wait to ship this to you. But, I couldn't help but notice that you were actually checking out the iPad and the MacBook Pro. I just wanted to let you know that we have a first-time purchase discount on 3 items or more that I could extend to you. So if that's something that you want to take advantage of, I'd love to have that conversation. Otherwise, thank you so much for the business." And there's a little send button there. And you can go ahead and send it, or you can go up and edit the text any which way you like and then hit send. That feature is 10 times better than the AR, in my opinion, because it instantaneously happens and you don't have to do anything, which is pretty amazing. So
Is that available on the only the gold, or is it on the bronze and silver as well?
I don't know that for sure. You'd have to ask them on the demo. I think it's available on all of them. I'm pretty sure it's available on all of them. But don't quote me on that. I'm loosey goosey with the features. I sort of stay out of their world and they stay out of mine. They change things, they upgrade things, they downgrade things, they do things all the time, and I can't even keep up with it. But the larger point is that we have so many little bells and whistles and website features that are hidden, and you spend enough time early on. All we used to do in terms of like our marketing is lead with like how awesome these features are, right? These features are so awesome. These features are so awesome, and it's extremely helpful to do that. And people like perk up, and then they come in, but it puts them in the wrong mindset. Then you come in and you're like, okay, I actually just have a website problem. You don't have a website problem. You have a marketing problem. Until I fix the marketing problem, you can't even have the website problem. So I mean, don't get me wrong. When you do the demo, they show you all of them, all the bells, all the whistles, all the everything else. But going back to your original question, yes, the website's important. It's a huge part of what we do, but the marketing piece is the most important, for pretty much everybody.
So help me out on that, just to follow up,
Mhm.
because I go to Squarespace
Mhm.
and put Photomoto on there
Yep.
and get like the visualization, that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
But where I'm struggling is that bottom tier, the bottom of the triangle, basically the
Mhm.
attention.
Everyone. No,
I,
no, no.
I've got
Kurt, where
I've got
everyone is struggling. Every
yep,
single solitary person, even the people that are close to $1 million a year in sales, are still struggling with that. Understand that's the problem.
yeah.
So you can
Well,
be on Squarespace, or you can be on Photomoto, or you can be on any, doesn't matter which website you're on, until you solve the marketing problem, you don't have a business.
so basically, if I'm a silver member, I get the same access to university as if I'm a bronze member,
100%. More importantly, you get access to the ongoing teaching and education and Zoom sessions and calendar and everything that it needs to get that business up off the ground. And by the way, you get that for life. For life. Like, look, if early on, okay, early on, if we thought we could get away with just offering a website, we would have done that, right? But you realize very quickly it's not enough. The only way that you can solve, the only way you can actually have successful customers is if you solve the marketing problem. And I'm being redundant on this, but the more that we solve this problem, the bigger our business gets, the more it grows, because people recommend the business to other people. They're saying, you've got to get on here. This is so incredible, all the rest. So yeah, that's it. That's the secret sauce. It's our secret sauce. That's all it is. It's why we charge what we charge. Like, we're a website company like anyone else. There's a monthly fee for the website, but we are for all the marketing and education and everything else. You're essentially paying tuition to a university where there's no graduates, because the learning never stops. So,
okay. So you're just getting started in this kind of the uh, video aspect of it. It sounds like, and really starting to push that the video show and that type of thing.
yeah, I mean, when you say just getting started, like a year and a half into it, I mean, again, we are practitioners, right? We're not gurus teaching from someone else's book or someone else's knowledge or someone else's study. I mean, I've run various different live broadcasts on every single solitary platform with every single solitary device up to 6 days a week since the pandemic hit, thousands and thousands and thousands of times, right? So we're pretty experienced in it at this point. But what I'm saying is that this is essentially like America was just discovered, and everyone just hit the beaches at the same time, and it's like everyone's figuring it out at the same time in concert. Like, how can you do it? How do you get better at it? What are the special techniques? What are the special tactics? How do you do Instagram and Facebook? How do you do Instagram and Facebook with two cameras? How do you account for the website connection? Is it strong enough? How do you deal with engagement early on? What is the best way to promote the show? What is the best way to get sales out of the show? How do you extend the deals that are in the show after the fact? How do you follow up? What's the best way? There are a million different things to figure out. Do I believe, in terms of art and photography, we're about 300 miles down the road from everyone else? Yeah, I do. But we still have 10,000 miles to go. I mean, it's quite literally the future, and it's going to change everything, what we're doing right now, right? Like, what would the alternative have been in a pre-pandemic world, right? You would have come to the website. Maybe I would have got your email address. Maybe I didn't. Maybe I'd have to hit you for a couple of weeks of Facebook ads. Then maybe you come back. Then maybe you give me your email. Then I email you for the next 3 months. Then you decide to get on the phone with somebody finally, and then you sign up, right? Well, how long did that take? Probably 9 months, maybe a year and a half. Now you
It's
pop
taken 2 years,
two
to be
years.
honest
So
with you.
2 years, case in point. Now,
It's been 2 years since I've been looking at it.
now in 20 minutes on a video chat, you know more about us. You have a much more formed opinion in your head about whether you can know, like, and trust we know what we're talking about and we're good at what we do, or you don't, right? It could go either way. But the larger point is the premise, okay? The premise. Video is like a catalyst in marketing, okay? It speeds up the chemical reaction. It is a catalyst in selling art, okay? The person that is potentially interested in your art, they are not just interested in your art, Kurt. They're interested who you are, what makes you tick, what's your backstory, what was your motivation, what was your inspiration for a piece. And the video just speeds that entire process up. In contrast to what it was before, boring static website, emails, social posts, da. So videos changing the world. So yes, we're extremely good at running the live art shows, extremely good at understanding the personal one-on-one art consults, how to merchandise them, how to get your pieces in them, how to have the exact right size,
And
be able to talk
you can
about the
integrate
subtle
that with-
differences.
You can
What?
integrate that with Facebook and
Yes, those are the streaming.
Instagram accounts and
Yeah.
Twitter and all
Yeah.
that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that's it. I think I get it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. The takeaway, again, not to be redundant, you have a marketing problem. We all do. So Diane's asking, please address quality. I'm just gonna unmute you, Diane. Oh, you're in here twice. I'm gonna try and unmute you, Diane. You have to hit the mic icon bottom left.
Hi.
There,
how are
gotcha.
you?
Good. How you doing?
Wow, great job.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I have 1,000 questions, but I'm learning just by listening as well.
Amazing.
I came upon your website quite by accident, and I was looking at various other vendors because I am in the art business,
Mhm.
and it's the fine art business. Mostly have dealt with just originals of one particular artist who's rather significant in the art world.
Mhm.
And at this point have decided to move into the commercial end to offer reproductions, to offer merchandise.
Yep.
I've received many requests over the years. I mean, it's been like 20 years where people say, hey, I can't afford the art, but I would love a limited edition print or
Yeah.
a poster or a t-shirt or whatever. So it's a whole new market for us.
Mhm.
And I was looking at folks that you're probably familiar with who have been in the merchandise business,
Yeah.
like Printful and what is it, Redbox, and there's
Yeah.
a few of them out there.
Yeah.
And actually ordered a couple of samples just to have a look to see, is this something I really want to attach to the name?
Mhm.
Because the brand really matters, and it really has to be high end, in my opinion.
Yes.
So one is quality of reproductions. Two is I'm not sure if I want to get into the limited edition / art reproduction business.
Mhm.
Maybe it's more of a merchandising piece, hats, phone cases,
Yeah.
blah, blah. And then just that's a little bit of my background. Most of our market traditionally has been European and Japanese market. So the international piece matters, especially when it concerns shipping. So that's really 3 areas that I'm talking about. The last one is really the implementation of the program, assuming we were working together. I mean, my biggest challenge is actually content is not a problem. We have tons of content.
Okay.
It's just a matter of packaging it and getting it out there. So the implementation piece is a concern of mine because we have the stuff, but it's actually getting it out there and how to manage that process. So I realize I'm all over the board here, but if you could just address some of those issues, that would
I'd
be
love
great.
to. I'd love to. Yeah, it's interesting, right? And let's talk about one. So you had a bunch of high-end price point stuff that was selling, right? Selling well. Problem, not everyone can afford that stuff, right? And so let's tackle that one first. Everyone, every single solitary person on this call, in addition to having a marketing problem, wants to target high net worth buyers, right? Every single solitary person in the world wants to target high net worth buyers. Unless you own the 99-cent store, you want to target high net worth buyers, right? everyone's followers are a bell curve, okay? And I got to do this like backwards, so you're just going to follow me. Down here, and this is a bell curve with socioeconomic status, okay? Down here, you have people that are not going to be able to afford anything, okay? They're poor, that's the way it is. Then you have lower middle class, upper middle class, high net worth individuals, okay? Everyone's followers are like that. Everyone that follows you, everyone that follows us, Art Storefront, everyone that follows Kurt that I was talking to earlier. And so once you understand that, you understand that you need to be in a position to have price points for each of those folks. Okay. You need to be in a position to have price points for each of those folks for a number of reasons. One, it increases the ROI, it's an additional revenue source. Two, the easiest customer to get is the one that you already have. Three, you're in this business for life. Four, customers that can't afford stuff early on graduate, they get bigger jobs, bigger homes, and they eventually can afford. Whoever is top of mind at that point in time gets the sale. So I like the concept of price point diversity, right? When you are just selling high-end goods, that is a very, very, very small niche audience, right? In terms of the merch, I go back and forth on it. I hated it early on, okay? I think it's tchotchke. I think it's crap. But you know what someone told me, and it really rung with me? He goes, who is the best rock band of all time? And I was like, I don't know. Who? He goes, the Rolling Stones. And I was like, all right, fair enough. He's like, do you know what the Rolling Stones have at every single solitary concert? And I was like, what? A giant booth for merch. He goes, they sell millions of dollars a year of it, right? And I thought that was so telling and really cemented it into my mind. Like, okay, let me do it another way. Ever been to a museum? Rhetorical question. I know you've been to a museum. Guess what they all have? Gift shops. What are in those gift shops? A bunch of hodgy podgy, clinky, crappy merch, right? So the point is that you can do the gift shop model, okay, which is you throw the stuff in the gift shop, and the instantaneous, the moment you call it a gift shop, and you've got I've got all of it over here so I could grab it and show it, but you've got the iPhone cases and the coffee cups and the tote bags. Like the minute that you handle the framing on it, this is just a gift shop, you're all good, you're covered, right? But in terms of the prints and the limited editions, my goodness, that's the gravy for you. Because look, not everyone can afford a $30,000 piece of art, right? You have to have price points. If you understand that bell curve with your followers, you have to have price points to deal with all of them. Another way of looking at it is like if I walked into your store, I use this analogy of these enterprising Indian guys. That sounds a little cliche, but they're Indian. I'm not trying to be cheeky or whatever. And they have a convenience store, and it's for like this neighborhood where the stores are a little bit further away. And every time my buddy tells me, every time I go in there and I leave without anything, the guy's like, hey, where are you going? What item did I not have? Right. And then the next time he comes in, he's like, he adds the item in the store. And the way to think about it is like, I go into your store right now, Diana, and there's only one item, high-end originals, right? Like start adding some new shelves in there and some new products in there. And guess what ends up happening? Your revenue picture drastically changes. So independent of what the it is, right, which you can figure out, you got to have that price point variability. You have to have some lower end items up to the higher end items and some other things in between, because otherwise you're never going to be able to take advantage of all the marketing you're doing. Because guess what? No one markets just to high net worth individuals. It doesn't happen. It doesn't work that way. It's like the ROI of trying to market to attract just high net worth individuals versus the ROI of just focusing on your marketing and having the entire bell curve go up because you have more and more and more is the way to build a smart business. Which is not to say you can't do it the other way, but in my opinion, that's a smart way to do it. So I'm going to holistically look at your store. If you don't have those price points, I'm going to needle you until you do. I quite frankly don't care how you get them in there, but you need to have them in there, right? You need to have them in there. And guess what? This is a completely reversible decision. So don't worry about the branding and the high end and what you think and your baggage, because that's what that is. Instead, let the market decide for you. And if you start putting a bunch of those items in the store and you get a bunch of hoity-toity people complaining, how easy is it for you to take those out? Extremely easy. It is 100% a reversible decision. But guess what? What if the flip side happens, Diane? What if all of a sudden you've got, another $6,000, $10,000, $3,000 pop that's happening on a monthly basis because you've added these lower price items in, right? And that's when it'll start spinning your head around. And I think you should do it immediately. And so we could
I
certainly.
do think and that's good. Thank you for that. I do
Mhm.
think that they are really two completely different marketing niches. I mean, it would be a completely different approach selling, phone covers
Mhm.
and T-shirts to, the customer who is a high net worth person who's going to spend $50,000 on a painting. But
Yeah.
I think there's some value to um, to putting that market, addressing that market completely separately.
Yes.
And I think that could be the solution you guys provide for us. And that would be a separate store with really just reproductions and merchandise.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I know I didn't read everything on your, all the links that were sent to me, but
Mhm.
I could see that you focus on building a storefront associated with the brand.
Yes.
And that would be separate and apart from, let's say, the website that we currently have.
Mhm.
But you would obviously, I could link them.
Yes. Very easily so.
And the social media posting and the implementation of all the to-dos on the 365-day plan.
Mhm.
I mean, do you have systems in place to address that if you were provided with the material, with the content?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, we'll teach you how to do that all day long. I mean, the good news is that, despite the fact you would have the two separate websites, really the marketing at the end of the day is just the marketing, right? Like you have one Facebook business page, you have one Instagram account, you have one email list. Maybe you shift how you email to it a little bit, but yeah, 100%. I mean, it's good that you have the content. Now that you have the content, you have to shoehorn it all into the various different boxes and just constantly be blasting it, right? That's how it works.
Exactly. And just a word on international.
Yeah,
if
no
you
problem
will.
at all. Zero problem at all. I mean, it sort of like depends on the shipping situations, right? For the originals, but you have that problem already anyway. So you've been dealing with that the entire life of the business. So you deal with that. In terms of everything else, it's pretty easy to ship international now. On some pieces it's expensive, but thank God art and photography have not been Amazonized just yet. And what I mean by
Right,
that is
right.
there's not the assumption that everything is going to ship for free, right? Like at least when it comes to like the high end art. So you're in a perfectly good position. I mean, I tell the story about my one buddy's live art show. So he did two of them over the course of 15 days, and we're gonna send them to you, but I'll show them to you again. And he's the one that's having one today, and he's got what is his Instagram followers? He's got a decent clip with Instagram followers, but I think like this whole concept, by the way, is like one of the things that excites me probably the most about your guys' businesses. And so I just want to get the actual Instagram number because I don't want to be hyperbolic about how well he did. Why that's loading. That's not the one. So, this simple show, right? And just, not to give away all the trade craft, but you can see, see. So he's got earbuds in, right? So you can see the earbuds in. The earbuds are to the phone, which is Instagram. The software that you see that's doing this is doing Instagram or is doing YouTube, is doing his personal Facebook page and his business page. So his Instagram account has 28,000 followers, right? If you took one of the applications that geographically maps where his followers are truly all over the world. In this particular sale, over the 15-day period, he sold 62 pieces. The 62 pieces went for the grand total of I think 33 or 34,000 Canadian. After it was over, he had to ship 6 pieces, 7 pieces in Canada, the majority in the United States, several into Central America, a couple to Asia, and the remainder to Europe, right? And he had to figure it out. Is the shipping a problem? Is the shipping the funnest thing in the world to figure out? No, it's a huge pain in the what, but it's also much easier to do than getting the sale, right? You get the sale and you're looking good. So yes, you can do international all day long, all day long.
Last question,
Yes,
samples.
yeah, all day, easy. You just
We
put it.
could get, we could,
Yeah,
I could see some of from the vendors. Yeah,
yeah, you,
okay.
you totally could. In the merch is the merch. Like we're sort of in a tough spot with the merch. With the prints, not at all. Okay. Here's the sad truth of printing, and people that own printing businesses get upset at me a little bit for saying this, but I'm sorry, it's just truth. They all have the same computers. They all have the same monitors. They all have the same color calibration devices. They're all using the same printers. They're all using the same inks, and they're all using the same paper. There's no art form to it anymore. There's just not. So when you're using one shop versus another shop, the only thing that you're getting different if they have the same equipment, really at the end of the day, is the service. That's it. So the two vendors on the West Coast and the East Coast, could you order samples to your heart's content? Do you need to? Not a single solitary one. Zero quality issues there. The merch, different story. The merch is we're in a situation where to get the really high end merch means minimum orders. To get the normal everyday merch is print on demand, no minimum order, no holding inventory, none of the rest of it, right? So that would be an individual battle for you. Which pieces pass the smell test, don't pass the smell test, right? Like I think The iPhone cases are cool, right? They're beautiful. They look amazing. I don't know if it'll do the zoom. It's so hard to do this when everything's backwards. Anyway, you can't see. The tote bags, is it the nicest tote bag in the history of mankind? No, it's not, but it's still pretty cool. The coffee cups, like I have a green screen running, so it makes these things look a little circusy. The coffee cups or whatever. So too with the throw pillows. Like I'd love to have somebody that like does a really high end throw pillow, but they're still nice. Like they're still decent. So you'd order all that stuff and you'd make the determination on that. But again, like I said, there's like a the highest of the high end stuff is like, yeah, we'll do it for you. Minimum order of 100. Then you have to warehouse that, and then you have to ship that. Versus the POD model, you get the order, you touch nothing, it ships, and it shows up at their doorstep. It's like a much nicer way to run things,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure. Sound like you have an interesting business, though. I love the high. Oh, here's a question I want to ask Diane before you go. I got to unmute you again. Okay. So one of this is for my own personal satisfaction. I'm not picking on anyone. Okay, at all. Out of curiosity, Diane, my dear, on those extremely expensive pieces that you're selling, how much negotiation usually goes down there?
A lot.
Did everyone hear that? A lot. As it turns out in this business, and the reason I'm framing it this way and saying this is because
Good question.
on week in and a week out basis, I catch so much crap, okay, about offering sales. Selling art and photography online is literally a business where you go from sale, normal marketing, sale, normal marketing, sale, and everyone pushes back and they're like, well, sales, I thought it cheapens the work. And it cheapens my overall integrity and everything else. And to which I reply, the only two brands in the world that I'm aware of that don't run sales are Louis Vuitton and Tiffany's. They just merged, by the way. I think they just merged, which is truly ironic. And moreover, when you get up into the rarefied air where Diane is, here's the secret that no one talks about. The high net worth individuals did not get to be high net worth individuals from paying retail. The negotiation that goes on at that level is staggering. So if you think they're not discounting on the high end pieces, it's just because no one's hearing about it. The discounting is massive. Yes. So anyway, that's it. But I appreciate you confirming that.
Good points.
Yeah. All right. Thank you. Zuzi, yeah, there are transaction fees or whatever. I don't know what the rates are, Zuzi. What you got to do is if whoever you talk to when you do a demo, like on the demo process, the way that works is, or you've already had one, haven't you, Zuzi? I'll just unmute you again because you're right there, and I got to say your name a couple more times, which makes me laugh.
Zuzi.
Yeah, Zuzi.
Yes, I already spoke with one of the sales representative, and so I got the price list, and I only see transition fee. So I guess I'm gonna ask him back again just to make sure. Besides the monthly fee, transaction fees based on what level you jump in, do you charge additional percentage of sold items?
No. I think it's just a transaction fee. That's it.
Okay,
but
that's important.
But literally, like, I don't. So the way that you normally get into like a world like this, there's the traditional sales department and there's the marketing department, and they don't want you getting in their world at all. So I literally don't know the details. Like they have their psychology and everything. You just stay away from it, right? It's like a my son with his toys. Like I know better. I know better than to go in there. If I don't go in there, everything in my house is harmonious. So,
okay, I can ask that.
Yeah, I'll tell you.
Since you opened the mic, one more question.
Please.
So I'm collecting, I have the opportunity, and you're encouraging it to collect email addresses, right?
Yes.
From clients,
yes.
or potential clients. Where, I know there's a website, but where
you're asking where do you store them? Yeah, so you need an ESP, which is called an email service provider, which lets you do the broadcasting and everything else.
Which I have because I have a Squarespace and MailChimp.
Yeah.
So I will store it there.
Yep.
So I own that. So if let's say I decide I don't want to be with you guys anymore for some reason, I'm just saying it.
Yes. You own 100. No, the artist owns 100% of everything with us. You own the URL. You own the merchant account. So the money doesn't come to us. The transaction goes in, the money goes directly into your account. It's not like it comes to us and then so the artist owns the merchant account. We integrate with MailChimp. That's what we recommend everyone use. You own the MailChimp account. Artist owns everything with us. That's so important.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's important.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, Rick's asking, do we have a Canadian print fulfillment center? We do. I'm blanking on what the name of it is, but we do have one. Yes, in Canada, we have to because of that whole percentage fee, which is super annoying. That like import export duty or whatever. So yes, we do. So Anna, to what level? This is a good question too, and I want to answer it. And I'm going to unmute you. Anna's asking, and I'll just pull it up on the chat so we can read it together. To what level will you be able to design or develop an art storefront's website for the functionality or presentation, if at all? You can totally, Anna, design it a bunch. Okay, you can hack it a bunch if you like, because it's a normal website and there's CSS and there's JavaScript that you can do. But I don't want you touching any of it, none of it, because you don't have a website problem. Okay, this is what artists do. And they're like, I want to get the whole site to look the way that I do, and I'm going to spend months and thousands of dollars, and you end up with a pretty portfolio site and no art sold at all. And that infuriates me. I'm not picking on you, Anna. I actually like you, but I don't want you touching it, right? You can, but I don't want you touching it because it's just not a high ROI activity. It's not going to fundamentally change the way the business is going. Like working on the marketing takes care of that more. But yes, you can. There's CSS. There's everything that the other websites have, so you can hack at it to your heart's content. But I don't want you doing it. All right. Heidi's asking, can you integrate with social influencer software like Social Lately? You don't need us to do that. That's an integration between you and the social accounts. So you can do that. We have some opinions on that too, but it doesn't really matter. It's whatever gets the work done. If you want to use that or Hootsuite or, Facebook's native one, you can. Doesn't matter to us. Is there a way to separate your art by collections or segments? Of course, yes, all day. And then I think, Anna, that asked your other question. Okay, London had a question. He said he's going to come back. Great, Heidi, wonderful. What else? Any other questions? What about the socials? I like playing with all my little buttons. It's kind of cool. I can pull in the Facebook comments. All right, there's that. I'm done playing with that. What else, guys? Final questions? Somebody? Anybody? Any further questions on a Friday? Go back to full screen. Oh, Diane, yeah, good question. How to schedule a demo. We'll put links in the chat. You get links after the fact. You fill out a little form. The outreach team, yeah, there's a link right there in the chat. The outreach team will reach out and call you a follow up. We'll try to get this email out right away because this live art show starts in, top of the hour, I guess. Top of the hour is the easiest way to say it without doing timestamps. You guys should totally check it out. And you'll be like, wait a minute, I could do one of those. That doesn't look that difficult. Brandon, if you're driving and you just hammered that entire thing out, I am impressed. Did you just hammer that entire thing out while the car is moving? You better be parked, brother. I'm going to unmute you, Brandon. Go ahead. And then Mary Jane, we won't have the link until it's live, so we'll have to send it to you right at the top of the hour now that I think about it. Oh no, you could just, April, why don't you put in Matthew's YouTube account? Just subscribe to his YouTube account right now and you can watch it. He's totally worthwhile guy to watch too. Okay, Brandon, you're up. Tell me that car is parked. Tell me you're parked.
Of course I'm parked.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Yeah. So I'm a landscape photographer, and I've always wanted to put myself in front of businesses such as hotels and doctors' offices,
Yep.
where because I always see in there like how do they get these prints? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because they've got 30 floors, and how do I get those kind of customers? I don't know.
It's called marketing. It's called marketing. Everyone thinks that like there's some magical way to do it, and there is no magical way to do it. And even if there is a magical way to do it, like, okay, the art publishers traditionally were the ones that got the hotel gigs, but occasionally they make deals with individual artists. Even if I taught you how to market towards, the purchasers for hotels and high-end restaurants and the like, it's not as effective. It's just generally working on your marketing and getting better and better and better at it over time. And I'll give you for instance, we have the private Facebook group for our members. We call it Small Wins. And a gal in there was like, you guys, everyone posts when they get like a big sale, it's like real rah in there. And she posts like, I just got a $35,000 worth of business from an interior decorator placing me in a brand new high-end home construction. Amazing. Everyone's like, how did you do it? Was it an email? Was it a Facebook ad? Like, how did you get it? She's like, turns out the interior decorator's daughter's been following me on Instagram for a year and a half, told her mom. How are you going to duplicate? How are you going to duplicate that? Right? Like marketing. It's just marketing.
You just have to have that, like you said, all-encompassing marketing.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Like the bell curve. It's really hard to get my hands in the bell curve. You know, you just keep marching it up, marching it up, marching it up. And the point of it is like, you know, when we think in a sales context, like let's say you're cold calling and you're trying to get to the executive, it's really, really hard, right? Because everyone's trying to get the executive. You know, the gatekeepers are getting you and everything else. The easiest way is an untraditional route, right? And so when you think about the bell curve, like I explained it, like turns out some of those people that are never going to have enough money to buy, they actually know the high net worth individual because it's their uncle or it's someone else, right? And so you get their attention, they speak to such and such, you end up getting the sale. That's how it actually happens in real life. There's a residue of success.
Right. And actually, speaking on that, my grandfather's neighbor, that's where I'm at right now, is my grandfather's. I work here.
Nice.
On his property, and he's neighbors with Mark Miller, who owns a Nissan dealership.
Nice.
So, you know, I've always thought of I can't remember. I met him one day, and you know, I've always just wanted to bring a print and just like kind of give it to him, just to say, here's one of my prints, you know.
Yeah.
Just little stuff like that you can't really plan for.
Yeah, for sure.
And then I had one more other question.
Mm-hmm.
I have so I basically have like 3 products. I'm also a painter.
Yep.
And I also I'm a rock hound, so I sell geodes that I find and cut and polish myself. So obviously that's like I wouldn't want it all on one website. And I think you touched on this earlier. It's easy to integrate the 3, right? Just click between the 3 or whatever.
Yeah, all day.
Okay. Cool. All right. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you. And I wouldn't even
video. I actually have a demo set up on Monday at 2 p.m. So
cool.
I'm gonna get this going finally.
Cool. All right. Say hi to your grandpa for us. And have a good weekend. Man. Yeah. Later, brother. Okay, next up is gonna go Mark, and then looks like Kurt's got a question again. So go ahead, Mark.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay, perfect. Regarding the live art shows,
yes.
You know, that's, I mean, I will be honest with you. I don't like being on camera.
Oh, dude, I hate it. I hate it.
I hate it. I like the way I look. I don't like the way I sound.
But you and I, brother. Yeah.
I'll do it if I have to.
Exactly.
But
you got to be contrarian.
The thing is, I'm not a painter. You know, I'm a photographer, a landscape photographer. I don't have a studio. I don't have pieces lying around. I'm in a small house.
All excuses. You have a garage. You have a garage. You're good to go. Yes.
Right. You know, is it possible to make sales without doing it the first few months until you kind of get a leg up and it's like, all right, I got some money hanging around now. I can order some pieces and do a live art show.
100%. 100%.
Okay.
And again, look, he's in his garage studio. He doesn't even have sleeves. Okay.
Yeah.
Guy sold $35,000 worth of art in 15 days. Like, it's no joke. It's no joke.
Yeah. And I'm actually going to probably be joining next week. I know that they have a lot of help and tutorials and, you know, phone help. Because I did do an unboxing video one time, and I didn't even get one person to tune into the live video.
Oh, for sure. For sure. Dude, there is so much tradecraft to the whole process. I can't even begin to tell you. I mean, massive amounts of tradecraft. But the good news is we know it all. We're inventing some of it as we go, and that, you know, that sounds braggadocio, but I'm not kidding. Do you know how many lives I've had to do in the last year? Do you have any idea? I mean, is it not kind of cool that I figured out how to do all of this wacky business and pull in the comments and zip around and everything else, right? Like there's a ton of tradecraft to the whole thing, and we teach you how to go live on Instagram, how to go live on Instagram and Facebook at the same time, how to do a phone on Instagram, how to do an iPad on Facebook, how to do an Instagram, the phone, how to do an iPad on Instagram, how to use software to get onto Facebook, to get on your YouTube page. I mean, I could go on and on and on and on and on. There's tradecraft to it, but it's wild. It's the future. It's amazing. And, you know, read that report. I want you guys all to read that report, especially you, Diane, because this is actually the art you sell is what's in here. Maybe you already have read it. I don't know. But it's super fascinating. And of course, in these hoity-toity reports, they can't say Zoom calls. And so they say OVR. Do you see it here? Online viewing rooms. What's an online viewing room? It's the damn Zoom call. Okay. OVR. Snooty people here. Whoever came up with that's going to probably call me one of these days. And you know what? I'll take it. I'll give them both barrels. But the whole world is trying to figure this out right now. And do you know how you get to Carnegie Hall? How do you get to Carnegie Hall?
You drive there.
No, practice, Mark. Practice. It's an old saying. Practice.
Yeah.
So that's the game. Yeah.
Second question I have is just, I've been paying attention to these. Most of the time I have to watch these after the fact because of work, but
Yep.
you're talking about the pyramid and marketing to your collectors. There's only so much wall space though. How many times will one single person buy from you? Because once they, you buy art when you move into a new place or.
Oh, I have multiple people. It's in 30 to 40 pieces and upwards.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. People have homes, dude. Lots of homes here, there, and everywhere. They've got friends. They give it away. They donate it. They store it. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. That is the least of your concerns. Where they put it, we don't care. Does the check clear? All we're concerned about. Right?
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah. All right, Kurt, you're back for one more. Go ahead.
Yeah. Digital art.
Yep.
Is that marketable these days, or it looks like you've got some on your wall there that might be digital, but
oh no, this is just a fake background. So
how it just seems like everybody's an artist these days that has a tablet or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
How the heck do you differentiate yourself and actually create a niche within that digital art
marketing? Space? It's just marketing, Kurt. It's the only thing.
Yeah.
The only thing. Digital art, it doesn't matter what it is, right? Like digital art, no problem, all good. Start marketing, right? Like we all start out with this set of assumptions, right? Like this sells, that sells, this doesn't sell, this will work, this might never work, but we don't ever get in the game. The only way you get in the game is if you get it in front of eyeballs. You get legitimate feedback. You get people that pull a credit card out of the wallet and slide, or you get somebody that doesn't even want to take the credit card out of the wallet, in which case you have another problem to solve, right? The art's not good enough, or it's not something that will work, but you will never know. I can never tell you. Susie can never tell you. No one can tell you until you take the product to market. In a pre-COVID world, that might have been a little easier to do. Get a booth at a show or a fair. If it's digital art, fine, make some prints, or fine, show it on an iPad, do whatever you got to do. But until you get in the game, you'll never know. And no one can tell you. No one can tell you. It could be a massive hit, or it could flop, or it could be in between. Like, you'll just never know until you start doing the marketing.
Yeah, it's always the artist's dilemma.
100%.
Am I good enough? Am I good enough?
Oh, 100%. No, Kurt, all our dilemma. We all get hit with pangs of self-confidence and self-doubt, right? But again, it's what's awesome about what we've created here. And I don't mean this to sound like a sales pitch, but you have a bunch of people that are going through the exact same thing as you are, right? It's like really helpful. There's a reason that like Alcoholics Anonymous meets in a group, right? Because you get to hear from other people. Right when you're at your lowest, there's someone there to give you a kick in the pants and be like, no, trust me, I've been down in that hole before. I know the way out, right? So that's what it comes down to.
Yep. Cool. Thanks.
Thanks, Kurt. I appreciate it. Yeah, we don't know what we don't know. Okay, so April put a link in the chat. I would just subscribe to this guy on YouTube. His stuff is awesome. He doesn't post all that often, so it's not like you're going to get zinged. And you can see how the sausage is made in real. Oh, that sounds kind of sick. Laws and sausages. You can see how the plane is flown while it's taking off, or some such analogy. But you guys should watch it if you can. It'll be cool. And it'll give you some ideas. And you'll see a guy that doesn't have it all figured out, that doesn't have the huge lighting, that doesn't have this, the other. It's at the top of the hour, so it's in whatever time zone you're in. It's in 20 minutes from now, right, or like 30 minutes from now. So, all right, that's what I got, guys. Awesome. I hope everyone has an absolutely fantastic weekend. I hope I answered most of your questions. My voice is running out of steam. I know when I'm at the end of my rope. Bye, Diane. That was good times. Hope to see you on a future one. You can certainly request a demo. The demo process is really minor, by the way. You fill out the form, you get on the phone with the person. I mean, Susie's been on one, she'll tell you. They're not super pushy. They'll never call you again if you don't want to hear from them. We're not running that type of an operation. So if it's something that you're interested in and you want to get like the dead to rights pricing information and tiers, all the stuff that I don't know, definitely request a demo. If you're just in the discovery phase, don't worry. We're not going anywhere, right? It's all good. So no pressure is what I'm trying to say. And you can come to one of these anytime you want. Run them 3 days a week. Yeah. Thank you, Suchitra. I hope I have that right. Thanks, Randy. Appreciate you guys saying that. Want everyone to have a wonderful weekend. We'll send you the replay to this thing too, so you can watch it after the fact. Not saying that you would want to watch it after the fact, mind you, but in case you missed it or you want to pick something back up, it'll be there. But thanks, you guys. Appreciate you. Everybody have an epic weekend and hope to see you again soon. Bye now.